Good morning. Daniel Swartz here from Wisconsin. Just thinking about back when I was still part of a congregation. Um, no need to say which denomination. I don't really think it matters. A lot of them are very similar. And there's a lot of well meaning people in these churches. That doesn't mean that the organization is set up to serve the Lord. Anyway, so back when I was an earnest young man and a fairly new Christian, and I really wanted to do my part. I went to uh, a leader in the church and told him that my life had settled down a little bit. I was work was going pretty well, and I was wondering how I could help serve in a greater way in the community, in the church. And I wanted to help young people, even though at the time I was too ambitious for my stage of Christianity. There's so much I didn't know, but I was very earnest, and I was thinking that I could help serve under a leader who knows more than I do. And I meant well, but I was off the boat as well. But I wanted to help serve and to bring people to Christ, and I didn't know there just wasn't really much of that going on. Most of the stuff was just come to church and anyway, get off track the subject there. But I wanted to let this Christian leader know about my weakness. That I can serve, but don't put me in this situation because I have a weakness, and I don't want to be put in a situation where I could possibly give in to the weakness I have. And he asked a couple questions, and then he just kind of brushed it off, and then he proceeded to do exactly what I asked him not to, because he said that, oh, he's not worried about it, you'll be fine. I literally told him, I have a problem in this area. I want to help you, but I need to be protected from this weakness. And he literally went and wanted to put me in a situation exactly what I asked him not to do. And I did try it for a while, but I provided myself with my own protection, which was to bring my wife along, because then I have someone to be accountable to. This is a huge mistake. I think it happens a lot. It happens a lot in the church. Somebody has the courage to go to their preacher or a Christian leader and tell them that, hey, I have an issue in this one area, and I'm struggling with it. Like I haven't gone down that path, and I'm keeping away from it, but I need to avoid this kind of thing so I don't fall into sin, because the temptation in this area, it can be multiple things. It's very strong, and I need to avoid that so that I'm not tempted to overstep and sin. And then the leader will look at you and be like, oh, you're a good young man and this and that, and they tell you all the reasons why you're not going to do it. And I think that is a huge mistake. If somebody had the courage to tell you about their weakness, take them deadly serious. They're asking you for help. And then if you brush it off, they probably won't talk to you about it ever again, and it could cause a person to just give up and be like, well, I told the leader here, I told this higher up in my church here, I told this youth pastor, I told the pastor, I told an elder in the church about a problem of mine that I'm struggling with, and I have this weakness that I'm trying to avoid, and I need help, and I need accountability, and they brush it off, and because they like you, and you are an earnest young person, and you are somebody with a heart for God, so they just want to brush it off as if because you have a heart for God, you won't ever sin, instead of saying, okay, I heard you. What can we do to protect you? We will always, if you are going to be going somewhere where, in a situation where you are possibly tempted, then we're going to only send you in that situation with another person who is aware of your problem, who can help you resist and avoid and watch out for you. There's too much of this attitude in church of, oh, this person is a well-meaning, God-loving Christian, therefore they probably won't sin. The Holy Spirit will not allow it. And we let each other go into tempting situations with no accountability, and we're just like, yeah, it'll be fine. They believe in Jesus. That's not how it works. That is not how it works. Did you know, I have little kids, and they know what the rules are. The older they get, little kids maybe struggle with rules. The younger they are, the more they struggle with understanding of the rules, and the more they have to be watched over by a parent. But the older the kids get, the better they understand the rules. But if there are two kids together, or three, and let's say they go, mom and dad step outside to go do something, the kids stay in the house, and there's two kids together who both know the rules, both know what's right, they are way, way, way less likely to do something that it goes against the rules. Why is that? Because somebody's gonna see. And maybe tell them, mom and dad don't like that. But if they're alone and no one can see them, that kid is much more tempted to go into the pantry and help themselves to a little bit of candy, maybe stick a quarter in their pocket, maybe take enough quarters to go buy soda at school. That was this guy. I did that when I was younger, but if another sibling is there, absolutely no way you're going to do that, because you have the accountability of the other person. Because it is much harder for two people to fall into the trap and do what's wrong, because you have to convince the other person that this is, you know what I'm saying? So in the church community, you have these young Christians who are not proven, even though they have sincere hearts. Some of the stuff that they're trying to give up is really, really fresh. And I haven't seen, there isn't a good enough job done of protecting baby Christians. You can be a baby Christian at any age. Just because you called upon God and you have a heart for God and you want to do what's right doesn't mean you are impervious to sin. Far from it. You're like an alcoholic who quit drinking. The smell of alcohol, you taste it. Maybe you walk through the grocery store and you see that label of your favorite alcohol. You taste it. And up rises a hunger for alcohol. So obviously an alcoholic shouldn't go hang out in a bar. He shouldn't hang around people who are drinking. Because it'd be really, let's put it for an example, it'd be really stupid. You're an alcoholic, you're a recovering alcoholic, you on fire for the Lord, and then that, let's say your church leadership says, wow, you understand all these alcoholics, so we're going to send you back into this situations to talk to other alcoholics because you can understand their story and you can bring them to Christ. But they might send you alone, so you have no accountability. And what's probably much more likely to happen is, or just as likely to happen, is that being around it again all the time is just as likely to pull you back into sin. Don't send your baby Christians back into the very thing that they struggled for years to get out of without another person there to help them be accountable. And if that person says, no, I cannot, I am struggling to keep this under control, even with another person there, I can't go into that situation because of what it brings up in my mind and it brings up in my heart, and I just can't do it. Protect that. Keep them people safe. If they tell you they are not strong enough to resist, believe them. Don't argue with them and tell them, no, you're a great person. Don't worry about it. That's a terrible thing to do. You could be helping these people back into sin. And when they fall back in, it's just that much harder to get out. Don't be a fool. Protect those who come and say that my relationship with God is in danger because of this thing. And then you say, no, you're fine. Go ahead. God will protect you. I love your confidence, but it's not well placed. Anyway, just some ramblings of a Wisconsin hillbilly. Hope you all have a great day.